So in this video, we're going to learn how to assign a variable in Python and actually create a program that does it. And we're going to use variables in print statements. So the first thing that I need you to do is I need you to go to Replit and you need to create a new folder for Unit 2, and then you need to create a new project. So I'm going to do that together with you. Just going to give me a second. I'm going to switch my screens around. So here we're going to go to my replets. Here I can see I have unit 1. I'm going to create a new folder called unit 2. And inside of there, because it's a new folder, we can just click new replit here, or you can still click it up in the corner. So if we click new replit here, since we're not doing a turtle graphics program, we're going to just do normal Python, no turtle. And then we're going to name this program unit 2 lesson 1. We're going to call it print statements with variables. So we're going to learn how to create print statements with variables, and then we're actually going to print those to the screen. So I'm going to create this replit here, and then we can see that we have where our program is going to run over here in black, and then over here is where we're going to type our program. So we're going to start by putting a comment at the top. So we're going to call this unit 2 lesson 1. And then we're going to put a little dash and do print statements with variables. We can remember what this program was supposed to be about. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start by creating some variables. Now, because this isn't a program that I have specific variables to create for, I'm just going to call them, variable 1, variable 2, variable 3. But remember, when you create a program, you want to make sure that your variables have very purposeful names. So here, I'm going to put variable 1. Notice that my variable name is on the left-hand side. I then have my assignment operator of an equal sign, and I'm going to make this a string with the word hello on the inside. So this statement takes the string hello and saves it inside of variable 1 or var1's location. Then I create a second variable here, and I'm going to name that or call that goodbye. And then let's create a third variable here with aloha. Now, these are all string variables. Something to remember is that and I'm just going to add some arbitrary variables in here and delete them out. If you wanted to create, say, an integer variable, you do not put the quotations around it. So kind of keep that in mind. If we have an integer or even a float, you do not put the quotations around it. But because our first three variables were string variables, we did. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to print these to the screen. So previously, our print statements just consisted of quotations with words inside and a combination of commas. Now, because we have variables, we're actually going to print this using variable names. So show you how variables work. So here we're going to do print, and then inside of here, I'm going to put variable 1, comma, variable 2, comma, variable 3. What you'll see here is I have a print statement, and I'm just using the variable names. And what I'm hoping will happen is that in place of variable 1, variable 2, and variable 3, it will print the words hello, goodbye, and aloha. And then those commas between them tell me that there's going to be spaces in between. So if I run that, I notice that's exactly what happens. It prints hello, goodbye, aloha with spaces in between. Now, we're going to do a similar statement here, but we're going to use a different operator between them. So we're going to do a print statement again, but this time we're going to do variable 1 plus variable 2 plus variable 3. So let's see what happens when we run both of these. So if you look really closely, you'll notice that the difference between the comma and the plus sign here is that the commas put automatic spaces in between those words. The plus signs concatenate them and just kind of smush them together. So there are two different ways that we can print variables to the screen, and depending on their usage, we may want to include a plus sign instead of a comma. So just kind of keeping those things in mind. If you use the plus sign, please remember that you need to have only strings inside of here. They have to be common variable types. They have to be the same type of data. If you use commas, they don't need to be the same type of data. So just some little things to keep in mind. So hopefully you're noticing that those are the differences between those two print statements. Now, What we're going to do here is we're going to, without actually typing these into Python, make some predictions about what's going to happen. So what I'd like you to do is pause the video for a second and look at these four print statements here. You have A is equal to apple, B is equal to banana, and C is equal to carrot. And let's see if you can figure out what's going to happen in these various print statements. So go ahead and pause the video for a second. Think about how those plus signs are different than commas, and think about what these are going to look like when you print them to the screen. So hopefully you took a minute to actually do those on your own so you can practice. So if we look at these four problems, here this first print statement just contains a plus sign between apple and banana. So what's going to happen is they're going to be smushed together. Remember, the commas add in that automatic space. The plus signs just smush them together. Then in this second example here, we have plus signs and commas. Where the comma is with these variable names, there is a space. You can see that right here. But where there is a plus sign, they are smushed together. So we have apple carrot space, banana carrot. This next one here contains a comma only between the two variable names. So we can see with the two variables, we have a space in between. And then with this last one here, we have all plus signs. So that's going to smush them all together. So hopefully as a result of this video, you now have a better idea of how to assign a variable name in Python, and then how to use those variables in print statements in different ways, utilizing both the comma and the plus sign.